All right, welcome everyone to another episode of the Agent Spotlight. And today I've got with me I'll call him one of the greatest agents of all time, Mr. Samuel Fine. Yeah, so good to have Sam on here. I'm going to go through his whole story actually, because it's quite an interesting one for you to hear about. But before I go into it, it'll be good for you, Sam, just to let everyone know who you are, how long you've been in the industry, and a little bit more about your agency as well.
Well, thank you, Io, for having me on today. Really thrilled to be here and I appreciate our partnership. I've been in the industry now for 8 years and I used to actually be in banking. So I worked at a big corporate office and started off as a bank teller. And then I became a branch manager over time, had
Hmm.
great money, but no time, and realized that this was not the career that I wanted to be in. So I started asking around. I talked to my district manager at the bank and said, "Hey, looking at making a career change. What do you think?" And he said insurance. So I actually ended up started looking around. And then my sister, Amy, had just started working with Symmetry Financial Group. And she said, "Come work with me." Fell in love with the insurance business, fell in love with the culture of Symmetry, and left my job. And here I am now, 8 years later. We have a multi-million-dollar agency, and couldn't be more proud of my team.
Perfect. Wow. I didn't actually know you were in the banking sector. It's similar to my background. I was in the research within the financial sector. It's interesting. A lot of financial people seem to be going into the insurance space, which is good to see. So obviously you mentioned that you came into the business not really knowing much about it. So how did you get yourself from just starting out to writing obviously your first couple bits of business to the numbers that you're seeing right now?
Yeah, a lot of trial and error. I'm always impressed by the people that come out of the gate crushing it. Their first 2 weeks, first week in the business, that was never my story.
Hmm.
I actually was told by my sister that I should be investing, and this was back in 2017, a minimum 350 bucks a week in leads. And at the time, my wife's like, "You should go get a job to pay for that because that's not in our budget,
Yeah.
350
Understandable.
bucks." And so I actually got a job at a department store called the Home Depot, and I was selling doors and windows, which I had no business doing because I'm like the least handy guy you know. Don't even know how to change my own car oil. And so I was working 4 in the morning to 10 in the morning, 3 days a week, so that I could take that money and reinvest it back in the business. And the crazy thing about it was that I would work 4 to 10, and then I'd get in my vehicle and I would drive 4, 5, 6 hours across state lines, across county lines to go meet with clients. And that put a lot of grit in me.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't want to drive 5 hours to get no showed or to get told that they need to think about it. You're like, "I'm here. We drove. We're going to do business."
We're going to do business right now.
And I learned such a valuable lesson at the time because you know, I'm a great people person. I love people. I love connecting with people. I think it's a big part of sales is people don't really want to know how much you know until they know how much you care. And so that's a big part of, I think, the psychology of selling insurance is you can be very logical in your approach, but if the client doesn't feel connected with you, they don't feel like they're being cared for. You could have the best product in the world, and they're going to go with somebody else. They're going to go with a different company. And so I learned some really good lessons. I went through a few like quitting phases as well, and so I uh, I think my first couple of weeks I didn't close anything.
Hmm.
And then even after that, I would write policies and then they wouldn't stick. Like, I vividly remember a time where I wrote this policy for a client. I put the car in reverse and I'm pulling out of their driveway. My phone rings. So I pick up the phone and it was the client I just wrote the policy for. And they're like, "Hey, we want to cancel it." And so I throw the car back into park and I'm like, "No, no, no, you're not canceling." So I go
You
knock
can't
on the
do
door. They
that.
won't even let me back in. And I just remember, like, what the heck did I get myself into? Like,
Yeah.
why am I doing this? And I remember calling Amy, who got me into the business, saying like, "Hey, I really wanted her to tell me to quit." So I was like, "Hey, like this happened. This day was horrible." And she was like, "Well, how many appointments did you have?" And I said, "Well, I had 6." And she was like, "Well, how many do you need?" And I'm like, "Come on, really?" I said, "I
Yeah.
need 12. I need 12 appointments." And she said, "Well, go get back on the phones and book up more appointments." And so I did. And then I turned my week around and wrote like 6,000 in business that week. But sometimes you just need those people in your life. There are like, will tell you the hard thing
Yep.
or will tell you things that you need to hear, not the things you want to hear. And that was kind of my story. Then I became a top producer. I hired my dad, and my brother, and so we were like this family business for such a long time.
Yep.
And then we just realized, like, hey, we can scale this. We can make this huge, and we can
Hmm.
have a lot of other agents find success in the industry just like us. And so I
Yeah.
started hiring my friends and family, started posting stuff on ZipRecruiter and LinkedIn,
Yeah. Yeah.
and before you know that, like, here we are today, 8 years later, and, we have the best team, we have the best agents, we have the best leads, and so I know COVID for me in 2020 was a big shift because we were entirely analog leads, so we were working mortgage protection,
Yeah.
and then in 2020, I started hearing about this thing called a Razor Ridge, and that's when I fell in love with you guys.
So tell me a bit more about the start of going digital. You mentioned obviously that's when we kind of turned up a Razor Ridge within the Symmetry ecosystem. So what made you make that jump, and how could you trust that that was going to be the right thing for you at the time?
Well, it's kind of like it was the unknown. Like, I didn't know if digital was going to work. The beautiful thing about Symmetry is like overnight, we went from in person to digital and we built out entire Zoom process and PowerPoints and we still instead of meeting with the clients in person, we still had the same leads.
Yeah.
Now we're doing it on Zoom and it was great because we grew like 27% in annual premium volume in 2020. But towards the end of the year, we started working with a new CRM. We never had a CRM at the time. It was
Hmm.
just like we got our leads, we get
Yes.
that was it. And so I didn't even know what a CRM was. And all I knew was it gave me another phone number to call. And there were some like lead automations for the
Uh,
clients. And so
yeah.
we used that originally for a lot of our analog mortgage protection leads. But then I went to a conference and I met you at conference and I was like, man, like this is something remarkable. I've never heard of a digital lead with such high quality. And we had dabbled into digital leads, but the issue at the time was there was no like text verification.
Hmm.
You would get a lead with a bad number. The client wasn't even aware that an agent was going to be calling them. And so the experience was far from great.
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
so when I'll never forget the very first batch of Razor Ridge I got, I think it was in 2021. And like literally I got 10 leads. And like the second guy I get a hold of, he's like, yeah, I want to write a policy. I'm like, I didn't even have to sell him on it. It was just
Yeah.
like, I want to buy a policy. And it's forever stuck in my brain. Like this guy, great guy from Charlotte, North Carolina. And from that point on, I was addicted.
Yeah.
I'll I don't have to drive. I don't have to spend hours on the phones. If I have a high quality digital lead, I can still help clients and then spend less time chasing, less time. And there's still a nurturing process to digital leads. I'm not saying it's easy,
Hmm.
but it shortened the time that I spent on the phone
Yeah.
and it made it a lot more worth my time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. And I think going back to 2021, when I introduced the SMS verification, it was for that reason. I knew for a fact that, probably 20 or 30% of the traffic that any lead source will get will be spam. And, people just putting in random numbers. So the easy way to get rid of that is just a phone verification. Now it's the industry standard, which is good. But everything that you're when it comes to the lead side of things, what we're trying to do is always just raise the standard that little bit more. But that kind of brings me on to the point of, although we wanted to raise the standard, there was a time when you left Razor. So it'd be good to talk about that because I think it's good for people to understand the real story behind how the Fine Agency has come back and why you've come back as well.
I love that we're in partnership with a company that identifies these are areas of improvement and these are things we can make better. What is really special, IO, about Razor is my sister hit the top contract level with Symmetry because our whole team was on Razor Ridge leads.
It's awesome.
That's amazing. Like, except my dad, who's like this dinosaur of an insurance guy. He still likes his paper lead. We're working on him, right? We're working on my dad. But everybody but my dad was on Razor Ridge leads. And it was really great because we just were able to scale it. You know, we were able to get our leads quickly. And it was a big turning point for the business. But yeah, there was a time, uh, kind of like I'd say early last year where, you know, I've always expected high quality leads from Razor Ridge. And for a moment, I started meeting with all these different clients that were like on disability and they made $600 a month,
Yeah.
or like they thought that they could get a policy today and then take out $100,000 tomorrow.
Hmm.
And it was almost like, this is not the quality that I need. And as a leader, if I promote something, if I stand by something, I want a story to tell.
Yeah.
And the story before that was Razor Ridge is the best lead on the market. No one can touch them. But then I'm like, how can I confidently still promote something if I'm having difficulty with it?
Yeah. Yeah. Of
So we
course.
we actually went back and we did some other digital lead sources and agents had success. We had growth. Some agents went back to mortgage protection.
Yeah.
But it was, I remember just reaching out to you guys like, hey, these are some pain points that we're experiencing. We're not gone for forever, but just let you know, this is what we're running into. And what I really appreciate about you, IO, is like you took that to heart and you're like, you know, hey, we'll get that fixed. Don't worry. And now we've had this resurgence over the last couple of months and we're so happy to be back.
No, that's awesome. And yeah, I mean, I take it personally when it's not quality, because I think, my job is to make sure every person who buys a lead has a good opportunity of making a sale. And so what was great about your feedback though, is what it highlighted me that there's way more room for improvement when it comes to lead generation, not just even with us, just within the industry as a whole. And what I'm trying to do with the premium leads that we obviously will talk about in a sec, is, and even the standard leads, to be fair, that we have, is really just raise the bar of what people should expect from a lead vendor.
Mm.
And so your comments about, firstly, the disability affordability criteria, I knew there was ways around that. And so that's why within the premium, we only target people who are top 50% of household income. So we remove anyone who self-identifies as unemployed, anyone who identifies as on disability or fixed income. And with that change that I made, I said, right, Sam, do you want to try this? And I put my hat in the ring and said, we're better, but you need to see it. You need to tell me if we're better, right? And so, I mean, more recently, tell people what happened when I came back and reintroduced what we were doing within the Razor space.
Yeah, well, business moves at the speed of trust, and I have high trust in IO, have high trust in Razor Ridge. Yeah, so I remember you hit us up, and you were like, "Sam, we got this great. We've made some changes, and give it a shot." And I think selfishly, I wanted to immediately put my whole team on Razor Ridge again because I'm like, I know what we've experienced. It could be amazing. But the pain, I think as a leader, like the pain point that I've always wrestled with is consistency in leads
Hmm.
and also with like the pathway for a new agent who may not have a ton of experience or may not have a ton of level of lead investment. And it's like, where can I put them or how can I position them so they have success? Now, I can't guarantee someone success. The
Cool.
insurance business is hard,
Yeah.
but I do want to make sure that if I'm going to champion something, that at least an average agent can have some decent success
Yeah.
in it. And so when you brought it up, I was immediately, I'm like, man, let's get the whole team back on it. But we did it. And so I reached out to Sean Boatman, who's one of our agency owners, Amy Fine, my sister, who
Yeah.
has been selling insurance for like 2 years. She
Hmm.
came out of the woodworks and she's like, let me give it a shot. And then Rocky Step. And I said, guys, let's see what they're all cracked up to be. And it was a dramatic change. Is it like, it's almost like you wake up and it's like a brand new day. You're like, this is, we were hoping this would be like that.
That's a good analogy. I like that.
It's great, dude. And so I just like tip my hat to you guys because it's wonderful. And I love that you've been the whole Razor Ridge support team has been great with just like if we have an issue with things, like you guys take heart to it and look into it and get back to us in a timely manner. And that's it's so great. How you guys have just a great support team. But yeah, we were like, we want to make sure these work. And I was started doing like 5K, 7K, 8K weeks on 10 Razor Ridge leads. And I'm
Yeah.
like, Amy was doing the same, Sean was doing the same. And it wasn't like 1 week we're like, okay, now we can promote it. It's been 1 week. We did it a second week
You
and a
did.
third week. And going back to what I was saying, like I want a story to tell. Like I want to be able to say, this is what I've done.
Yeah.
This is the data behind it.
Hmm.
And this is if you do as I say and do as I do, if you follow my footsteps, it's only a matter of time. And I think that a lot of people think that there's a special lead that's like the silver bullet for
Hmm.
success. And as much as I love Razor Ridge lead, it's just because if you're struggling with leads, Razor Ridge may or may not be the answer. They may not fix it, but I can tell you this: if you want a high quality lead with high intent, it's the right thing. And people think about it's all about the lead. Most of the time, it's about personal development.
Yeah, of course.
It's working on your skills. It's working on your development. What books are you reading?
Yeah.
How are you growing yourself?
Yeah.
The grass is not going to be greener on the other side if you're not growing yourself and becoming a better person and better producer and learning the skills that it takes to win. Just
Exactly.
because you have a different lead type doesn't mean you're still the same person. So you're probably still going to get subpar results. But I've learned that as I push into something and grow and learn something and take it to heart, like I will see growth. And
Yeah.
I truly believe like give me any lead, I'll find success doing it. Like
Yeah.
that's my mindset. And I think that's it's all about perspective. Like, how am I seeing this lead? Because what a lead truly is, a lead is a family, a
Hmm.
lead is a person,
Yeah.
it's a human being. And if I can get down to that level of humanity and be like, this is someone that has a family, this is somebody that has a need, this is
Yeah.
somebody that has a concern.
Yeah.
And if I can find a solution and connect and show that I care,
Hmm.
I can help any type of lead.
Yeah.
But once again, I have preferences. Like there's certain lead types I prefer. But this comes down to like most people see a lead as like, how much can I get from this lead or how much money can I make versus how well can I serve this person? Because your level of service and professionalism and care will determine how much money you make in this business.
And interesting you say that because that's actually what we do within our marketing right now, in a sense of we're very specific. I mean, you've seen our wording, so you know we're very specific with the words that we use about what the agent role is. And the agent role is there to provide options based on your specific issues or things that you're trying to protect. It's not to give you one policy that's going to make them a fortune. It's all about identifying their need and then finding the solutions at the best rate possible to fill that need, which is, it flows exactly of what you're saying. And you talked about the, you like to test things out again, especially for your agency. So obviously there was I now know about it, a test you did within your agency where you said, look, I'm going to buy 30 of these premium leads and I'm going to show you guys just how much money you can make if you just work hard and do the things consistently. So yeah, let's talk about that. Was it 18K AP in 30 leads? Is that right?
Yes. I got 30 Razor Ridge leads, and I still have many that I'm combing through. Those are the ones I'm pursuing.
Yeah.
But $18,000 in APV out of 30 leads. It's crazy. And what's wonderful about Razor Ridge as well is a lot of times the clients you help, they give you referrals.
Hmm.
you
Yeah.
know? And so even like thinking about like 3,000 of that business was referral business. Hey,
Perfect.
can you help my spouse? Hey, can you help my friend? There's a really cool story. I didn't even tell you this one. So Steve O'Brien had just closed his first Razor Ridge client. So excited for him. This is like his
Congrats,
second
Steve.
week with you guys. And the client he closed, it was a Razor Ridge lead that he wrote an application for and forgot to get the signature. So he got like the whole application done and then he just forgot to get the signature. And so now he's trying to chase his client down for the final signature. Well, it turns out the client got cold feet and they're like, we want to talk to our work and see what we have through our job. But Steve, my friend is looking for some life insurance. Can you help them? And so his first Razor Ridge deal was a referral from a Razor Ridge client that he's probably going to close him today, most likely. So it'll be his second. But it's beautiful because it was a Razor Ridge client that he was writing the application for, and then said, "Hey, can you help my friend?"
Yeah.
Policy was approved on the spot, and you can just see his joy and his
Hmm.
excitement.
Yeah.
He's and he's been doing this for 3 weeks. Like he's been an agent with us for 3 weeks, and it was his very first lead he's ever helped, very first client he's ever protected. And you can just see the joy. And there's just like he woke up the next day with this new excitement. Another thing what I like about Razor Ridge leads, because I've tested this too, IO. I'm like, I'll trust but verify what IO is telling me. You're saying, hey, Samo, those leads get delivered pretty fast. I'm thinking, how fast are we talking?
Yeah. Is he
And so
really?
I remember this was back in, I think 2022, maybe even 2021. I was like, I'm going to test what IO's saying. I'm gonna verify this. So a lead dropped. I called him right when the lead dropped. That's important. Speed to lead,
Yeah.
and he
Very.
picks up. So I'm going through verifying the information. Yeah, I pause and I say, "Hey, John." We'll call him John. I don't remember his name, but
Yeah.
we'll call him John. I said, "John, how how recent did you make this request?"
Ooh, good question.
And I'm expecting John to say, "Oh, it was a few days ago or sometime last week." I'm thinking Razor just got this like stockpile of leads that they're like, "Okay, you get some, you get some." He said, "Well, it's funny you say that. I was just on YouTube
Mhm.
5 minutes before you called. I saw the ad, and now you've called me." So
Perfect.
within
Perfect.
5 minutes,
Yeah.
the lead was delivered, and now I'm talking to him.
Yeah. And that's, do you know what? You're touching on a great point. Like real time delivery, that is truly real time delivery, is important because, as you said, speed to lead, especially this digital age where everyone's fighting for attention. Speed to lead is really important. And, we work with partners like Synergy and other people who have different CRMs to ensure that the pipeline is always fast. And there was a time where it wasn't, which we'd had at one point where, lead would drop and then it would take 5, 10, 15 minutes for it to hit the system. But that process is now streamlined, and it's good to hear that, the team, not only our team, but other teams are continuing to make sure that for the agents more really it's more for you guys than anything else, that you're getting the best possible speed that there is. That brings me on to something which two things. One is, you love Razor Ridge. How have you gone about bringing your agency back online with us? Because we're partners. We talk most days now about things that we can do to improve just everything. Yeah. So talk to me about that process and why are you doing it versus, you've used other lead vendors before, as you said,
Mhm.
but why are you really trying to make people come on to Razor right now?
Yeah, so we have like a 6 week ramp up for new agents, and I do want my agents to learn the process, learn the sales. And I tell agents this, especially new ones coming on in the beginning, I would rather you make a $2 mistake, a $4 mistake versus a $50 mistake in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because not every agent's going to be really good when they come out. Most people aren't.
Yeah.
You'll probably be like me and not have a lot of success in the beginning. And and so that's kind of like our training ground. So we're really intentional on creating a space to
Hmm.
coach and train agents. And it's not all one person. We have a system that works with or without me. And I think that's important because if I'm the only coach and the only mentor, it bottlenecks with me, and
Yeah.
that's not a healthy business. I want duplication. I want replication. So we have a great training process, but in that training, we're like, hey, we want you to get on some bonus leads, some age leads for your first couple of weeks. We want you to get good on the phones. We want you to learn how to overcome objections,
Yeah.
because the same objections you hear on a lead that's 6 months old is going to be
Hmm.
the same objection you hear on a lead that's brand new,
Yeah.
5 minutes. And so it's not, people are still people. And so we want to train on how to overcome objections. We want them to see trial and error and have wins.
Yeah.
But by that third week, we recommend getting on to digital leads.
Okay.
We recommend
Oh,
making that transition.
yeah.
And sometimes it's a combination. Maybe it's 10 Razor Ridge leads and some more bonus leads
Mhm.
because there's still that aptitude that they're working on in the beginning. And so we encourage our agents to get on digital leads, but it's a healthy transition. You don't just like stop the bonus leads and then switch on over. Some agents do, but it's like a healthy transition because there's still that learning curve.
Yeah.
And so we don't say go get 30 leads on your week 3. Start with 10,
Yeah.
right? Start with 10 and then still work your bonus leads and then gradually increase your lead investment and the quantity of leads that you're taking. And so that's for us, that's what we do. Our goal is to get everybody completely on digital leads, preferably razor rich.
Yeah, and it's definitely working. I think over the last, what, 2 months, it's been record upon record. I think you got a few of your
Yeah,
agents.
Sean Boatman, just another testimony. Sean Boatman has had record breaking weeks and months, and his entire team is working razor ridge leads.
Yes. And I can actually see it. And interestingly, obviously on the leaderboards, it's good to see a lot of those agents just appearing on the leaderboards. So one of the things that your agency is really good at is your contact rate is mega. like you, what are you doing? How do you get the amount of resolution that you get? Because I remember when we came back to Razor Ridge and I said, hey, try this out. And then you're like, I just spoke to 8 out of 10. And you're like, but I'm going to do it again because I want to make sure it's a real number. And you did it again. It was like 7 out of 10 or whatever.
Yeah.
Aiden said the same. Sean said the same. And it was consistently very, very high. Talk to me. What are you doing? Is it a specific texting, calling? Is there a process? What process are you following?
Yeah. We spent actually hours on a razor rich script when they first came out. We didn't have a script
Hmm.
for digital leads. And we're like, well, if we don't have a script, we need to make one if we want agents to work them.
Yeah.
And so it's a component of multiple factors. And I coach my agents that you want to get 80% resolution every week on your new leads.
Hmm.
A resolution is a yes or a no.
Yeah.
So you want to be able to connect with that client. And a no may not mean no forever, but maybe you call them at the wrong time
Yeah.
or it's just a season of life that they're in where they're not wanting to make that decision. So a
Hmm.
no always can turn to a yes. I remember helping a client 2 years ago that I got the client in 2022 and I wrote her a year later in 2023. She had told me no a year before. And then I'm just calling through my old leads and she picks up. I'm like, it's all about timing. It's all about timing. And I think that's another important thing to remember is like digital leads are a pipeline business.
Yeah.
And that's what every week you want to invest and to get more leads because the leads that you were unable to get a hold of this week or the previous week, they may come back around in week 3, week 4, week 5.
Hmm.
It's just the right text at the right time. It's the right phone call at the right time. It happens. But we have a few things that we coach on. And number one, it's what you said, speed to lead.
Yeah.
That's so important. So making sure that you have flexibility in your calendar when you put in an order to when that lead drops. And I love that they drop most of the time between the mornings and the evenings, right? And so this is working hours when we see them drop. There's sometimes they sneak through midnight,
Yeah.
2 in the morning, but most of the time it's in during business hours. So if you're working those hours, it's all about speed to lead. And so what we coach on is as soon as that lead drops, we use a CRM at Quility called Funnel. When that funnel message goes out saying, hey, so and so, this is Samuel Fine, just following up with you about the request you made for life insurance. We could talk on the phone or text. As soon as that intro text goes out, which is pretty immediate,
Hmm.
we coach an agent to call right away. You double dial
Okay.
immediately, and then you leave a voicemail. Hey, IO, this is Samuel. I just given you a call about the request you made for the life insurance with the living benefits. You put that your favorite hobby was
Yeah.
fishing.
Favorite hobby. Yeah, I like that.
Are
Yeah.
are you
Yeah.
And the favorite hobby is great because it's going to connect the client to that transaction that they just processed. Sometimes you see some funny hobbies, but the great thing is the great thing is that it's like, oh, this is a person. And what clients realize, especially in digital spaces, that there's a lot of AI, there's a lot of, you know, automations
Automations
that
and
aren't
bots.
human, and you
Correct.
want to get that human touch on it. And so
Yeah.
what we coach is that lead drops, you call right away, leave a voicemail, and then you go into your CRM and you send two text messages. You
Hmm.
reintroduce yourself. Hey, we just try to give you a call. Just got to verify a couple things. Looks like, and then we like to nudge them with, hey, looks like you indicated that you're 51, you're a non-smoker, and once again, your favorite hobby is fishing. Is that right?
Yeah.
And typically that verification text, when you're sending them a text with the information they provide online,
Yeah.
triggers a reply.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Very clever.
then you can have a great texting conversation into an appointment or, get them on the phone right there. But that's something that we coach. And so one thing I've learned about like digital leads is you don't want to beat them up.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to like the first day, like call them 100 times and like the client's gonna be like, what the heck? But it's just like, it's nurturing them, and we have a 7-day protocol where it's every day's couple dials, send a text, couple dials, send a text. And I always recommend using different area codes as well, because if the
Yeah.
client sees the same number calling them every time, I'll give a great example. We purchased a home back in 2021, and I got pre-qualified with a lender,
Hmm.
and this lender ended up not having the best rate. Just okay. I went with a different lender, but the first lender that I went with, they kept calling me every day from the same number every day. And then out of the blue, this very same lender called me. They must have been a Symmetry agent. They called me 3 times in a row from a different number. So then I pick it up. I'm like, hello. Hey, this is Rocket Mortgage. I was like, you
Yeah.
sly fox.
I bet
Um,
he was on the other line, like, gotcha.
He got me. He got me. And so that's that same thing. Like you want to use multiple numbers. Local area codes are great. So like calling from local area code. So if you have a Texas lead, make sure you have a Texas area code.
So where'd you get those numbers? So
So
you
within our
buy
CRA,
living funnels? Okay, you buy
yeah,
bolt. Okay,
you can buy them in Funnel. Yeah.
perfect.
And a lot of people, honestly, because we are spoiled with CRMs and digital space, I still love my phone. I still love just calling from my cell phone too. So and then we have at the end of 7 days, we have this text we send out, which really helps. Hey, IO, I've had a hard time getting a hold of you. Is this still important to you?
Mm,
Or should I close out your file? Let me know how you want to proceed.
yeah,
And I've had a lot of people, oh, sorry, I've been busy.
yeah,
Sorry, we'll touch base next week.
yeah.
After 7 days, it's like I'm still calling them, I'm still nurturing them. And then it's just all about timing. And so, a couple things that increase your contact ratio is that as soon as that lead drops, you call it right away.
Hmm.
I remember Christmas Eve one year. It was like early in the morning, lead dropped. I'm like, well, I'm gonna call it. It's Chris. Even though it's Christmas Eve, we were
A day,
baking cookies
minutes.
or something. Someone needs insurance. So speed to lead, and then having a CRM where you can then send a intro text, and I call it a verification text, where you take the information they provide and say, hey, this is what you input. Is this you?
Yeah,
Is that correct?
yeah,
And that typically will trigger a reply. And then just don't book your appointments far out. Like try to get them within the hour. We like to say we can call you back in an hour if we're
yeah,
texting them.
yeah.
Hey, I'll give you a call in an hour. Does that work? If they say, yeah, that works. If not, we'll try to book at the end of the day.
Perfect.
But that's for us. It's just who's the most tenacious person in the room is going to win.
Yeah,
Whoever's like, I'm going to get this person on the phone is going to win.
yeah.
And that's what our mentality is like. Hey, if I've made an investment in something,
Hmm.
I'm going to make sure I get my money's worth from it. Even if that resolution is a no,
Yeah.
I just want a yes or a no so I
Hmm.
can go. Like
Yeah,
that's all I'm looking for. And
perfect.
so at some point in the protocol that we have, hey, do you still want my help? Like I feel like I'm chasing you. I don't want to be chasing you right now.
Yeah,
And even if that doesn't work, they may be client that a year later you call them up out of the blue and they're like, hey, we're ready to buy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting. That is interesting. I love that. I love that because I think that's really good advice for people who may be struggling with contact rates because we obviously know that the leads, when you do contact them, usually are people who are actually wanting to do something quite quickly. For what I'm hearing, they have money. and they are in relatively good, well, usually very good situations financially as well. And this is for the premium leads that you've been buying. So as long as you can get them on the phone, very confident that any batch of lead order, 10, 15, 20, 30, whatever, you'll make a significant ROI. In your case, it's what, like 20, 15, 20 times you've made, which is pretty huge.
We had an agent last week he made the national leaderboards. He wrote $16,000 on Razor Ridge leads
Yeah.
in
And you
1
had it.
week.
Yeah, which is insane. No, but it's really good to see. It's really good to see. And right, last question to wrap this all up. So what would you recommend to people who are looking to start out on Razor Ridge leads?
It's a pipeline business, so if you decide that you're gonna invest into Razor Ridge and work their leads, you gotta be all in. And so we teach it as a pipeline. You need 4 weeks of lead investment every single week, new orders every week, until you make the decision if it's good for you.
Yeah.
And so you don't just buy one batch of leads and make your decision off one batch of leads. And so we tell agents like, okay, get Razor Ridge leads, but it's not just like, I'm gonna buy it 1 week and try it out. If you try it out, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
It's that weekly lead investment because it is a pipeline.
Hmm.
Give it 4 weeks and you'll be happy with the results.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. And once again, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. Obviously, it's been great to have you back within the Razor Ridge fold. It's exciting to see the numbers that your whole agency is putting up right now, and it's growing, which is awesome to see. And I really look forward to seeing how, as we develop our leads even further, how that correlates into increased production from not just your agency, but all the other agencies and agents that we work with. I'll be chatting to you very soon. Cheers.